Alright y'all, now I know y'all clicked me on the last video with some even saying it was clickbait, and for that I apologize, but damn bro, all I did was forget that Dawn aired on other services. Like, come on bro, chill. But coincidentally, we'll be talking about another show that's being aired on Netflix and Apple TV too, Pantheon. But before we go over the show and its plot, let's discuss its brief service hopping history. Now, the show Pantheon was originally aired on AMC Plus, but then got removed off there and was re-released on Amazon Prime. Due to low ratings, the show's second season was only available on Amazon Prime's Australian and New Zealand servers, and later Netflix bought it and now it's available there too, and on Apple TV as well. The show revolves around the two main characters, Maddie Kim and Caspian Keyes. Maddie's father was a brilliant programmer for the company Logarithms, and one day he went missing. Caspian is a complete genius who begins to suspect that his entire life is a lie. Now this sounds like your ordinary type of coming age story, but this shit is just so crazy. So it turns out that Maddie's father David had actually become a UI, short for the term uploaded intelligence. A UI is someone whose entire brain was uploaded onto a computer and are essentially immortal gods now, hence the name Pantheon. As they control everything electronic, and with the world becoming more and more electronic every single day, they essentially have control over their entire world. The only downside is that all UIs have a flaw in them that causes them to die after using too much energy, and currently at the moment Logarithms is enslaving Maddie's father as a UI to do basically all their work. This ties into the story of Caspian Keyes, as later it turns out that suspicions of growing up in a fake home were actually right, as he discovers that he's the genetic clone of Logarithms creator and former CEO, Holstrom, aka the show's interpretation of Steve Jobs. Holstrom was the first person who made a UI and identified there was a flaw in their system, but he was dying around the time due to illness and realized that he probably wasn't going to live long enough to create a cure. So he harvested his DNA to make Caspian so he could one day create the cure, having Caspian go through all his different life circumstances and even his similar beginnings so that way he could end up the same as Holstrom. But instead, he ended up a bit different, which leads us to the present day where Caspian and Maddie are trying to save her dad. So now that you're basically caught up with the plot for season 1 at least, we can finally talk about why the show is so peak. Firstly, the show hammers on the question of what makes someone human, as by the end of season 1, the existence of UIs are exposed to the whole world, which makes a global divide between everyone whether or not having a physical body makes someone human or not, with some agreeing that the UIs were just as human as we were, with some UIs needing to get uploaded as a necessity because their physical body is just too weak for them to use anymore, but others believe that being uploaded into a computer is essentially forfeiting your humanity, as that would make someone an individual. Another topic confronting the show is how power can really corrupt somebody. A prime example being the Indian UI Chanda. Chanda was a brilliant engineer who decided not to work for a big company, so the company CEO had him captured and forcefully turned into a UI to serve him. He was eventually rescued due to a bug in their system, and after realizing what had happened, had taken revenge on the CEO by killing his family, hacking their house and just destroying everyone gruesomely. After enacting his revenge, he begins to realize that humanity may not be fully rooting for UIs and begins to enact his plan to commit genocide. Now I agree with him taking revenge on the CEO, but trying to evaporate a whole race over it is kind of crazy in my opinion. Another piece of this show that I really love was diving into the UI's perspective of things, as an example being that David Kim after being rescued by Maddie and Caspian, as even though he was still himself, he could no longer touch his wife or do the typical everyday things a father would do with their daughter, and that slowly begins to take a toll on him mentally, and with his newfound power being a UI, begins to heighten a sense of responsibility to the world, as there's so many things that he could do that could just help everything become a better place. Lastly, this show is one of my favorites solely because of the fact we're basically living in it, as we have many debates on the ethics of AI and the evolution of mankind, and we're constantly trying to figure out the pros and cons on whether or not this could be harmful or a good thing for our society. Now, if we were to do a flash forward all the way to the end of the show at season 2, bro, the thing was just crazy, man. It turns out that she's meeting aliens, Maddie becomes a god, Caspian ends up becoming a UI too, and ended up being the savior of UIs. It's just a lot of stuff going on, but I have to admit though, the show makes it really work in an amazing way. And a quick side note, bro, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this show went to Netflix, I kind of was mad because I enjoy gatekeeping the show and giving it to people that I actually fuck with, but hey man, the show needs the exposure, and I'm glad that Netflix has taken it, bro. I'm glad. I can say that. I'm glad. Anyways, y'all, give us a wrap for the video. I'll admit it's probably a shorter one, but I kind of have writer's block and I have a lot of other school stuff going on right now. And also, I'm working on a business, so if you guys want to check it out, links in the description. Meet my needs. We're for sure gonna blow up soon. And thank you guys for the support. Made this video blow up, and enjoy the rest of y'all day for real.
Shorty bad, I can't have no one basic. Treat the stress like a wood, I'm gon' face it. When the guys at the spot is complacent, paid the bond, now I feel like an agent. 00, not a villain, but don't call me hero. Keep my ear to the streets like I'm Jiro. fold his ass with a left like a Giro. Damn, your friend trippin', she don't want my mans.